Here's problem 3. We want to find the converse, inverse, and contrapositive of this statement. All televisions use electricity. Now, in order to do that, we need to change this statement to an if, blah, 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 then blah, blah, blah. So we need to change it to an if-then statement, to a conditional. So what I have to do is it says all televisions use electricity. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to say, hey, if, I'm going to start with an if it is a television, comma, then it uses electricity. Okay? So we've changed this all televisions use electricity to a conditional statement of if it is a television, then it uses electricity. So just put a period. The converse, we want the converse of this statement. Now remember, the converse is you're just taking it and you're changing it. So like converse shoes, you're flipping it feet, changing shoes on your feet there with converse. So basically this then part becomes the if, and the if part becomes the then. So instead of saying if it is a television, then it uses electricity, I'll say if it uses electricity, then it is a television. See, we're just switching them. That's what the converse does. So this would be if it uses electricity, comma, then it is a television. I'm going to say TV for short there. The inverse. Now the inverse just means you leave the statements as they are, but you make them negative. You negate them. We change them to nots. So instead of saying if it is a television, we'll say if it is not a television, then it does not use electricity. We just simply put nots in there. We negate the pieces. So the inverse of this statement, I don't switch anybody. I'm simply going to negate both parts. So it'll be if it is not a TV, comma, then it does not, doesn't is what we'll say, use electricity. Finally, the contrapositive. The contrapositive is a combination of the converse and inverse. We're going to switch the if and then piece, and we're going to negate it. So it's a combination. It's everything done. We're going to switch the original statements, and we're going to negate it. So this is going to go here, that's going to go there. So it's going to be if it does not use electricity. If it doesn't use electricity, comma, then it is not a television. Then it is not a TV. Okay? So you just got to remember, it's pretty easy. Converse, think of your tennis shoes. You flip them. The if becomes the then becomes the if. The inverse, you leave them as they are, but you negate them. You make them both nots. And finally, the contrapositive, you're going to flip them and you're going to negate them, change them to nots. That's what we have right there.